Christmas Deja Vu might not be as bad as some of the reviews online are suggesting, but I can't say that I enjoyed it. And I think the main reason for that is I just didn't care for the protagonist. I didn't hate her necessarily, but I didn't find her a very likable character, so I didn't particularly care for her journey. This film was released in 2021. It's written and directed by Christel Gibson, and it stars Tanya Chisholm as our protagonist, Tracy. And we learn that Tracy used to be part of this vocal group, but things didn't work out for her while it did for the rest of the group. And her life's not going very well at the moment. But then this angel helps to give her a push in the right direction. And she gets to see a different kind of life. And she wakes up one morning and she's living a very different, very successful life. But maybe things are not quite what they seem. And she has some lessons to learn along the way. It's a fair enough narrative. It makes sense. It flows well enough. The pacing's absolutely fine. And most of the characters are okay. But I just find Tracy to be really, really unlikable. I didn't care for her. And I can't put my finger on why. I think sometimes she's got a very negative attitude, but not in a way where I think she's going to learn things and go through this great character development. That does happen, of course, but it's not like a Scrooge character where they're a miser and mean to others and then they have to learn about the spirit of giving. It's not quite that situation. I just feel like she's not a very inspirational, interesting character. She might be relatively realistic. I think there will be a lot of people in her situation who have a similar outlook and a similar attitude, but that doesn't mean that I enjoyed the experience. And I couldn't connect with her attitudes. I couldn't really get behind a lot of what she was thinking or saying. Her mother, I really loved her mother. I thought her mother was absolutely brilliant as a character. So there were other characters that I really liked. And in fact, I think there were maybe a couple of others I thought were pretty great as well. But for me, definitely, Tracy just wasn't somebody who I could connect with or get behind. I didn't care about her story because I didn't really care about her as a person, which is a shame because it's an interesting enough narrative. But for me, just the way the character was written, nothing against the performance, I think it's a very believable performance, but the character herself, the way she was written, her personality, it just didn't work for me. I like the glitz and the glam that we get with part of the film, and we get a nice amount of festivities, and we have a lot of reds and a lot of Christmas colours. So it's a relatively Christmas film, relatively Christmassy. The narrative, as I said, is fine. The pacing's fine. It develops well enough. We have some characters such as her mother, who I really, really liked. But Tracy, I didn't care for, so I wasn't really that bothered about anything that happened. If you're into Christmas films, then absolutely check it out because there are bits of it that are watchable. As I said, it's not as bad as what I think the reviews are suggesting online, but for me, it's not great either. Some people might like it depending on what you look for in a character. For me personally, it just didn't work very well.